My name is Tom Colentis, and I am the very proud principal of Libertyville High School. And I know I speak for our entire staff when I tell you that today is our favorite day of the month because it is the day we do our True Wildcat Awards. And I always tell my own kids that if they ever were to win an award at school, I would want them to win this award because a lot of high schools celebrate students for having really outstanding grades, and we do that here. And a lot of high schools celebrate students for being really gifted athletically or really gifted artistically, and we also celebrate those things. But not every high school celebrates students for just being great all-around kids. And that's what this award is. This is the True Wildcat Award, which means that the students that we're honoring today are the students that our staff thought about and said, hey, who really represents what it means to be a Libertyville Wildcat? Who's a student that's a dreamer and a doer? Who's a student who's aware of herself and her goals in life? Who's a student who's resilient and healthy? Who's a student who is inquisitive and thoughtful? Who's a student who's nimble and able to go with the flow and change and kind of invest in what the class is doing? And who's a student who's global and can think about the world and their place in it and can value other people and be respectful and kind? And what's really cool is that your student did not apply for this award. They didn't raise their hand and say, oh, pick me, pick me. They just were going about their daily business, just being themselves, and somebody on our staff recognized them and said, you know what, when I think of who is a true Libertyville Wildcat, I think of this student. And our teachers did not have to nominate somebody. They didn't have to pick somebody. If they didn't have anybody that they didn't think was worthy of this award, they wouldn't have put a name in. So we're very proud of your student for being selected for this. And what we're going to do today is we're going to have the teacher or the staff member who nominated your student come up here and talk about the reasons why they see your student as a true Wildcat. Students, it's really awkward because you get to come up with them, and we have an X right here, okay? So you get to stand on the X while the teacher talks about you, and we all get to smile. And then after that, you're going to walk over with your teacher to our daring backdrop over there, and we're going to take your photo, okay? And one of the things that's awesome about winning the True Wildcat Award is we wouldn't be such a great school if we didn't have great students, great teachers, great parents, but also really great community partners. And I want to introduce Mr. Jack Greasy. He's the owner of the Domino's Pizza in Libertyville. And every single month, every time we do a True Wildcat Award, Mr. Greasy is here. He's been here for many years. He's never missed a True Wildcat Award. And he donates a free pizza to every student who wins the award. So, Mr. Greasy, thank you very much. Students, you don't even have to share the pizza with your family if you don't want to. You can decide, you know? All right. But before we start our ceremony and bringing students up, you know, we know that we're really proud of the students. And we know we have teachers and staff members who are going to share why we're proud of your student. But parents and loved ones who are here, friends, family, grandparents, we're going to put you on the spot, okay? And we're going to ask you at your table to take a minute or two to share with the staff who's with you or the other people at the table, why are you proud of your student? Okay, so why are you as a parent, as a grandparent, as a friend, why are you proud of your student? And students, you know, this is going to be awkward as well, but your mom and dad, your grandparents, they're going to look at you and they're going to tell you why they're proud of you. So let's take a few minutes to do that. We can, as parents and grandparents, friends and family, if you didn't get to say everything you wanted to say, you'll have plenty of opportunity to do that. We're going to get to our presentation so our teachers can now and our staff members can talk about why they're proud of our students. So to get us started, Okay, we're going to bring up the awesome and extraordinary Mr. Goodwin, who is going to talk about Angel Campos. Come on up.
All right. First, huh? Oh, boy. Well, when we first came up, and I team teach with Mr. Budge, and I just asked, I said, I'm up to nominate a sophomore. I'm just thinking, what name comes to mind, And he goes, oh, Angel. And I go, well, that's the name I was thinking. And so, right away, it was the first thought both of us had. We have them in geometry. I thought I'd just read the first paragraph and then just make a couple comments about Angel and why I feel so strongly that he's the true Wildcat. And he'll share his pizza with us, too, I know. I nominate Angel, though, for the True Wildcat Award due to his impressive work habits, consistent positive attitude, and his kind, friendly personality to all. I consider it an honor to have Angel in my geometry class. He demonstrates the qualities of a remarkable student who's a role model to all. He has extraordinary work habits in which he uses his time wisely. His work is always first class. He's very insightful. He's a determined individual. And he's motivated to do his best. And he's driven to be successful in all that he does. And that's why I picked him. Just a couple of comments about some personal things that happened in class. The first week, Angel raised his hands. I go over, I talk to him. I say, hey, what do you need? And we're doing notes. And he's like, oh, I just need a little help on this. So I work with him a little bit. And I start walking away. He got it. He goes, I'm good, Mr. Goodwin. I got it. I walk away. He raises his hand. I come back. He goes, Mr. Goodwin, I just want to say thank you. I was like, oh, man, so polite, so generous, and so thoughtful. And, that just stuck with me that first week of school. And not just one time, but he would repeatedly do that. And last week, when the final time came, he was out a little bit. I think he was sick a little bit. And he came back, and the first day, he's like, oh, Mr. Goodwin, can I get some extra help? Now, we're learning new material. Well, he wanted to get the, old material. I was like, oh, okay, just slow down. Let's just work on the first one. Then he came in the next morning. He worked with Mr. Budge, and really, truly amazing. I mean, he just determined, and he's a go-getter. And he caught up in one day. I was like, oh, wow. Of course, he doesn't, stand by the door, not that students do that or anything, but, once in a while they might. But he doesn't. He stays there, and he just keeps on plowing through. And it has an effect on his neighbors, like I won't say names, but the people that are around him right there, they're looking and they're going, oh, man. So they start working a little bit harder, too. So he has an impact on other people. Definitely the hardest working kid in the class. He comes in early. I know we had a proof test. He was worried about it. No one's worried about proof tests. But he was worried about it, came in early in the morning, got extra help from Mr. Budge. And when he comes in, he just doesn't get extra help. He always asks, hey, can I get another problem? Can I do another problem? Can I do another proof? And he keeps working all the way up. So definitely one of the hardest working students in class. Joy to have, and an honor to be able to nominate Angel. Congratulations. Now it's your turn to give the speech, right?
You guys are going to walk over there and take
I was just teasing him.
He was like, whoa. Knowing Angel, though, he would do it. That's right. And I love that because, that's what we really believe here at Libertyville High School is it's not about knowing, being intelligent, being smart isn't about knowing the answer right away. It's about how hard you work to try to find the answer, especially when you're stuck. What do you do to try to get unstuck? So awesome job, Angel. All right, we're going to bring up our next student now. We are going to bring up the fantastic Mr. Dawson to talk about Megan Bowling. Come on down.
Okay, so this is Megan. I love doing this. I get to do this probably once a year. I get to nominate someone, and it's one of my favorite things to do. I've been around a long time, and we've had a lot of these types of events. And I remember when this first started, and we were thinking about, should we do this kind of thing? Is it right to single out kids and bring them in and honor them? Because sometimes it's awkward, right, for teachers to pick out one kid and say, you're doing an even better job than everybody else. But the positives, I think, really outweigh some of the things that might be perceived as negative. So it's been great. And I think once we got it going, it's been established as one of the, like he's saying, one of the best things that we get to do. So I always look forward to this. Thinking about our new daring mission, that coming out of this idea of what would a graduate look like? What would the portrait of our perfect graduate, like every kid coming through here, what kind of things would we want them to exhibit? Like what kind of characteristics? And getting input from students and parents and community members and teachers, and then putting together a list of, like, if we could, we would love to have every one of our students have these kind of experiences. So when I was thinking about who would I nominate, I wasn't thinking about the daring mission. I wasn't thinking like, who's a dreamer and doer, that kind of thing. But it was obvious to me who I was going to pick. And then when I thought about what would I say when I got up here, then I got out the daring mission, because I knew there was going to be a bunch of stuff on here that would be, if I was thinking about what would I want every kid to be like, she's going to have a bunch of the things that came out in this daring mission. So just a few things that I will tell you are in here. Believe you can make a difference. Prepare to thrive in your studies and your career and your life. Pursue your passions. Reflect frequently. Persevere through difficulties. Build your confidence by deepening your experience. Curious, think creatively, explore options, ponder problems, adapt learning to novel situations. These are all things that came out of the community of learners around here. Like, what would we want all our students to do? And Megan does all those things. But I think the thing that she does the best that really makes her stand out for me is she seeks to understand. When she comes in for help, she's an A student in my class, and it's a difficult class. There's difficult concepts. She comes in and works over things that she kind of can do. She could probably get them right if you gave her some practice problems and said, do these, and then this kind of stuff will be on the quiz or the test. She would do the work and practice and be able to do well enough to still get a good grade. But she's always coming in to talk to me about, I don't really understand. How does this work? Can we go through this again? And she's so doggedly persistent about it. We will go through example, we'll go through it, she'll take notes, she'll say back to me what she thinks I'm saying, she'll try the problem, she'll make another note, she'll put a star next to something. It's unbelievable working with her, and it's never a matter of, okay, I have this well enough that we can just go on. She digs in and really wants to understand stuff. And I know the teachers out here can totally relate to this. You know those kind of students that you work with who they're not in there just to get a point or a grade or to get something done, that they just want to understand it because they know that that's why they're here, to understand things. So Megan, I love that. I'm so happy.
That's another one of our examples of we are here to teach, and we want students to learn not for points, not for grades, but for genuine understanding. So Megan, thank you for embodying that for us. All right, next. Darn it, I don't know any French words, Miss Guillard. So, you know, bonjour, ooh la la, let's bring up Miss Guillard with the John Power. Come on up.
All right. Well, I am happy to honor John this month as the World Languages Student of the Month, and I've had him in class for 2 years now, which makes it a little bit different than just having a little bit of time. I've really gotten to see him grow, which is why I'm excited to have him here today. And it's interesting, when I really was thinking about who I wanted to nominate, I was thinking about how much progress John has made as not only as a French student, but also as just a student. And I got to see that over the year and a half. And as I was listening to his mother saying why she was proud of him, and his grandmother and his grandfather that came today to say why they were proud of him, they were talking about how things are getting more difficult in school, but he's really stepping up to the challenge, and that's also what I'm seeing and why I nominated him. So I nominated him because of his impressive growth that he's shown as a language learner and a student. And I really feel like this year he's been challenging himself to become an excellent French speaker. So he's a little bit on the shy side, which I'm sure that he really appreciates being standing up here right now next to me. But I know that that takes just a little bit more effort for him to make the conversations with his partner and raise his hand, and I've noticed such an improvement in that, and as a result, such a big improvement in his French speaking. So I also have noticed how he's really been making an effort to complete all of his homework and participate in the class discussions. I was particularly impressed. We just finished up a unit where we read the book Around the World in 80 Days, so we read an entire book in French. And I know that he did a good job on that because he came in every morning and did all of his work right there and asked me questions when he had questions. And then he was really able to participate in class, and I know he did a good job on that, so I was very proud of him for that. It's really a joy to watch students become able to be good students and have that come from themselves and have them just improve, and I'm seeing this just happening exponentially with him, so I'm hoping that this will happen, continue to happen. So hopefully these recent successes will help to build his confidence and lead to more success in French class, and félicitations à Jean. Tu es génial.
All right, we're going to keep it going. This is loving these stories. Now we're going to bring up one of the bravest people in Libertyville High School because Mr. Adams is a traffic safety teacher, and he's got to drive every day with about 150 students who've never been behind the wheel before. So let's bring up Mr. Adams and Calvin Blom.
Sacre bleu. No, that's French. I'm not. What an opportunity to present Calvin to you. When he comes into class and he sits down and he wants to take advantage of opportunity. Comes to class every day with a smile on his face, ready to get to work. It's validating for a teacher. Sometimes you're wondering, are the lessons that we're presenting to them, are they worthwhile? Are they something that the kids are going to get something out of? You know, we sit there and we do small group work, and we have creative writing lessons in driver education where they're creating stories and using topics from the work that we're covering, the textbook and whatnot, and incorporating them and trying to have fun with it. You know, I don't want to see students not having fun with education anymore. And Calvin's one of the people that will take those chances. He will be inquisitive. He will ask questions. He will sit down. He'll work with partners. He's worked with a couple, 2 or 3 different people this semester already, and they have succeeded as a result of his persistence, as a result of his desire to be excellent. He doesn't overlook the material at hand and say, oh, well, you know, I've got priorities. You know, I certainly have academic priorities, and we know where sometimes driver education might fall within those priorities, but he treats every learning opportunity the same. He tries to gain something from everything that he does, and he puts his best foot forward. When he gets up and he presents in front of the class, he presents enthusiastically. He makes eye contact. He talks, and he shares the information. Makes my job a lot easier. When you have Calvin in class, you know that things are getting done. People are having a good time. They're learning, and it's a strange thing in driver education. A lot of people say, well, what kind of a student? How are his grades? And you know, if you're out in the car and you said, like I was talking to Mr. Russ, he has to be, we came to an understanding, the 3 teachers that he works with. We have 3 different phases. So Mr. Matthews, Mr. Russ, myself, we all came to the understanding. Calvin's our person. He's representing. Because this is the type of person you want to have, you know, in terms of a true Wildcat. And when he's behind the wheel of the car, when you're thinking about, oh, you know, how well did he, what was his grade today? Well, you know, he stopped for 90% of the stop signs. No, that doesn't work in driver education. You don't get to do things 90% of the time. You got to do them 100% of the time. And Calvin gets that. He understands. And so not only does he bring that to the actual driving phase or the simulation lab, but he brings it to the cognitive aspect of learning. And when he does it with a smile on his face, and it makes it easy. And I'm going to give you one other example of the type of person that Calvin is. Just the other day, he comes to me and says, it was a Tuesday, that Mr. Adams, I'm not going to be here on Thursday. I have a field trip. I'm going to be absent from class. I just wanted to let you know ahead of time. I get emails all the time about who are on the lists for field trips. He doesn't have to let me know. Calvin comes to me and tells me in person, in an age where everybody's texting or emailing or all sorts of different things, he comes to me in person and says, Mr. Adams, I'm not going to be here. That, to me, speaks volumes of the type of person, the type of character that he has. Because he's willing to come up in person and say to you face to face, hey, guess what? You know, he's willing to communicate to you in person, face to face, and that is getting more and more rare these days. And that's the truth. And that's one of the things I love about Calvin. You know, I can count on him. He's one of those people that you can count on. And Mom and Dad, whatever you're doing, keep it up. If, you know, I got 2 little ones. If you're going to have a clinic or a class or something like that, I could always use the help. So whatever you're doing, all you people here today with your children that have done so well, so outstanding, it is a joy to be in their presence. And I thank you for everything that you do each and every single day. Calvin, it's been a pleasure, and it's going to be a continued pleasure. Thank you so much.
I never thought of that, Mr. Adams, the 90%. That actually, I got to think about that. All right, we're going to keep it rolling, and I'm going to bring up the super fantastic Miss Shanebeck to talk about Nick Samaras.
All right, so I have, obviously Nick has only been in my class for about 2.5 months, so I've only known him for a short time. He's in my World Lit Honors class. But when the Student of the Month email popped up in my email, I quickly jumped on it because I didn't want anyone else to jump on it because I wanted to nominate Nick. I knew that right away. And I could mention, you know, Dr. Kalenis talked about how, you know, I could talk volumes about how smart you are and your critical thinking skills and your work ethic. And I could talk for hours about those things and that you know, eager intelligence that you bring to the class. And that all would be true about Nick. But the very first thing that I think about when I hear the word Nick is a fist pound. And that seems kind of odd to mention, I know, at, you know, this kind of a ceremony. But I think it is important to understanding the type of person Nick is and why I nominated him. Because most days, he's in my first hour class. He comes a little early. He marches into class, and he puts his things down, and he comes right up to my desk to give me, his English teacher, a fist pound. We didn't plan this at all, but. And even, in fact, when I was writing this write-up, when I was writing that very sentence that I just, you know, talked about, he came up to give me a fist pound. You didn't know that. But I was just like, I got to mention this. It's like, it's just, you know, I just have to. And I mention this for a couple of reasons. First, I think it shows how naturally eager Nick is at his core. You know, whether he is showing me pictures of a giant fish that you caught, whether he's analyzing a quote in my class, whether you're just walking down the hallway, you exude optimism. You have this contagious joy, this contagious positivity, where you approach every obstacle, every task, everything with this optimism in your life. And that's something I really admire because whether you probably have been having a bad day at one point, but he never shows it. And he never lets obstacles or difficulties get him down. He is the type of person that I look forward to encountering on a daily basis, that he brightens my day and makes me excited to teach. And that is something that, you know, is just, from my perspective, just I'm so grateful for. And I know I'm a better person for knowing Nick. In fact, just one quick story. This has happened many times in my class, but there was one time I was helping Nick in the right place, and I was helping him with a paper, and I got done helping Nick, and then I turned to another student and started helping this other student, presumably someone Nick didn't know. And after I finished helping the student, Nick says, "Hey, that was a really awesome paper." And that's something I see often from Nick. You know, a group gets done with a group presentation and he's like, "Hey, so-and-so, that was amazing what you just said." And he constantly is looking to affirm other people, and that kind of kindness catches on, and that kind of kindness spreads. In fact, his mother, first thing out of her mouth, mentioned his compassion and his heart, and that is something that I truly admire in you, Nick, and I think the world could use a lot more people like you, and that gives me hope for the future, your kind heart is going out into our world and you're going to do amazing things. So I'm so grateful to know you. I'm excited about the rest of this year, and if you don't know him, you should get to know him because he's pretty awesome. That's Nick.
Ms. Shanebeck, I thought you were going to say the first thing that Nick's mom did was give you a fist bump, which would have been, yeah, there we go. All right, we're going to bring up the fantastic Mrs. Newberger to talk about Chandra Dulal. All right.
She's coming. Ms. Silver's going to take a picture. Chandra's mom couldn't come today, so we wanted to just take a photo so that she'd have something today. Oh, I need my glasses. Okay. Yes, you're doing great. Okay, so in an effort to not forget anything, I am going to read. I'm so sorry I'm going to do this, but I just don't want to forget anything about all these amazing qualities. So Chandra moved here to Libertyville. We were just talking at the table almost exactly 1 year ago today. And moving high schools during freshman year, after it's already started, not an easy transition. But all of her classes had already begun. She had to figure out what coursework she was missing. She had to meet new people. She had to find her way around a really big and confusing building. She overcame lots of challenges in her whole life, and she has lots of responsibilities at home, helping out with her siblings and her mom. And with all of these demands on her free time, she is managing all A's and B's in school, which I think is amazing. She is a very independent learner, but she's found resources at school to help her be successful. She comes and asks questions. She seeks help when she needs it. Her resilience in handling everything that she has to handle is inspiring for all of us that work with her. She walks to school every day, and it's not as close as my walk, I know. But rain or shine, she's here. I saw her one day with a cardboard something. I got to get you an umbrella. I know. She's definitely a doer. She does not sit around and wait for things to happen. She makes a decision each and every day to be present here with all of us and do the very best she can while she is here. With all of her responsibilities at home, she decided she wanted to apply for her first part-time job, and she sought me out, and we went and found somebody else to help us, and together kind of worked through that whole process. But what I think is amazing is with all of her responsibilities that she has at home, that she feels that she has the time for a part-time job, and is not letting the fact that she doesn't have transportation get in her way. She's not letting the conflicts that she has with her responsibilities get in her way. She's not letting time management issues get in her way. And to me, that is pretty inspiring because you already have a pretty demanding workload. She also joined choir when she came to LHS. And I know that extracurriculars is tough to add to her already demanding schedule, but she enjoys singing, working together with her peers, performing in the choir concerts, even though she doesn't want to be here in front of all of you standing here today. Her teacher told me she is always working hard, always participating. She's made friends there, lifelong memories, and it's great to see her having a good time. In all, she inspires us in LST every day with her resilience and her daring attitude. She may have much to handle, but she does it with grace, persistence, and a bright smile. No red lipstick today, but sometimes it's really bright, and it's so beautiful. It's for these reasons that we would like to honor her with the True Wildcat Award. I want you to know that your attitude, your positive attitude, and your smile and your can-do ethic makes all of us feel lucky to work with you. So congratulations.
I needed Chandra last year because I was a new student here and I did not adapt quite as well as you did, Chandra. So I need those tips. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to bring up the awesome Mr. Rhodey to talk about Michelle Gembra. Come on down.
In honor of Mrs. Guillard, I'd like to say bonjour à tous les vrais chats sauvages et au Dr. K. All right. That's hello, true Wildcats and Dr. K. Before I talk about Michelle, I'd just like to add on, I've had Angel in class the last 2 years, and I can say I cannot tell you how many times adults in the building, staff members, have come back to me after he's interacted with them and said, holy cow, the Angel, he's so respectful and polite. I can't get over how polite and respectful he is. So I would like to echo the remarks made about Angel earlier. And I will say about Michelle that she has a great attitude. She's kind and positive. When she has been faced with difficult tasks in my math class this year, she has approached them with grit and has worked patiently to master the material and earn an A thus far in the semester. Michelle's put in extra time and practice outside of class to sharpen many of her math skills. Her confidence and comfort level in my class has also grown as a result of her work ethic and tenacity. As far as the true Wildcat, to me, I made up a little acronym. The T, she's timely, she's on time. Every day, wherever she's supposed to be, she's there. The R, she's respectful and responsible individually to complete the work that is asked of her. The U, she understands that she's also part of a group and is a positive member of that group, regardless of where it is in my class or in others. And the E, she's got an excellent attitude. And again, that word grit, it's part of our daring statement, and it's my favorite part of it, and she displays a lot of grit every day in what she does in my class and beyond. Thank you, Michelle, for being in my class and doing such a great job.
All right, who knew Mr. Rhodey could speak French? I'm learning something every day here. This is good stuff. All right. We're going to bring up Dr. Brown, but Dr. Brown is going to speak on behalf of Mrs. Brown for this particular student. So come on down, Dr. Brown, to talk about Michelle Hogarty.
Mrs. Brown is home with a little sick child today. I feel fortunate to get to talk on behalf of Michelle because I also have her in class in choir. So these things are all about dance, so I'm just going to read this statement that Mrs. Brown wrote. Michelle Hogarty is undoubtedly a true Wildcat. She is a member of my Dance 3 class and the LHS Orchesis Dance Company. Not only is Michelle a remarkably talented dancer, but she's an excellent role model and a standout leader for other students. She makes meaningful contributions during class activities and discussions. Michelle always commits passionately to learning, practicing, and performing new dance material. Therefore, Michelle is a great example of a dreamer and doer. Michelle is also a courageous risk taker as she creates and presents her own choreography. Being a choreographer is a huge responsibility, which Michelle takes on gracefully. She is developing awareness as she explores, refines, and expresses her unique artistic voice during the choreographic process. I have observed her nimbleness as she collaborates with and teaches her choreography to her peers. She consistently embodies flexibility, sensitivity, and kindness. Finally, Michelle demonstrates that she is inquisitive and resilient. She has stepped outside of her box as a dancer to investigate the world of theater. She proved to be a very valuable cast member in our fall musical Pippin. Her ability to overcome obstacles like balancing the busy schedule of academics, private dance classes, and other after-school rehearsals is highly commendable. We are very thankful that we have you in our program. Everybody, Michelle Hogarty. Okay. Oh, okay.
While they're taking their photo, we're going to bring up Mr. Thompson to talk about Ryan Gaddick. Come on down.
You see the X? Okay, all right, good. Ryan's parents also weren't able to come today, so I just want to say hi. They're going to watch the video. Just a little note to everybody here. I was talking to one of my coworkers as I was getting ready to come here, and she said, I've had 3 kids come through this school, and not one has been nominated for this award. And her kids are really sharp kids as well, so this is a pretty big honor. I was talking to Ryan, he's got a twin brother, and I said, has your twin brother been nominated for this yet? And he said, no. I said, well, you got to make sure you let him know that, right? and he said he for sure will, right? Ryan is in. I've had the pleasure of having Ryan in my class. I think all 3 semesters you've been here, correct? And I've truly enjoyed it. It's been an honor. You don't find a harder worker or a more conscientious just kid that's so nice to everybody. Just a pleasure to be around, pleasure to have in class, and a very intelligent student too. And in my write-up I said, he's great in class and all that, but that's not the reason why I nominated you. Obviously, that could be the reason, the only reason, but it's not. We were talking about the daring thing, and I think of risk. And one thing, Ryan's pretty quiet. He's pretty quiet. He's not a very vocal person in class, but he's joined my engineering club, which is called Create, and he's actually taken a leadership role in our building this robot to compete in this VEX competition that we're going to be doing. And he's taken a leadership role in that, which I don't think comes easy to Ryan, stepping up and being a leader like that. And it's just been a very big risk for him to step up and do that. And for that, I'm very proud of him. And I'm excited to see how this group of kids work together to come up with a great product there that we can compete with. So that's the reason why I nominated Ryan as the true. I'm still having a hard time with this, not saying student of the month. So I've done this quite a bit. So true Wildcat. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And Ryan, I have some ideas for robots, so we should talk because I could use some help. All right, Mr. Brown, Dr. Brown, come on back to talk about Sarah D'Onofrio and Natalie Smith.
That's mine. Forgot it.
All right.
I don't get to do this very often, and so I wanted to take the opportunity to nominate 2 very, very strong people in my class. One is a soprano, Sarah. That means she sings really high. And the other is an alto, Natalie, who sings very low. These 2 girls have been in my class since freshman year. I've had them in class every semester they've been in high school. I hope that I have them for all the semesters in high school, if I'm lucky enough to get that from them. Not only are they leaders in their section, they are, as Natalie's mom was saying and Sarah's mom was saying, they're just nice. They're nice people. They're happy all the time. And we need that. I need that. I need nice people to be around me all the time because it's not always easy to be nice. Sarah is involved in theater here at LHS. She plays piano. She's a super talented dancer, musician, actress. Natalie is along with being a talented singer, is on our varsity cheerleading squad. She gives a majority of her time to cheerleading as well as she does to music, and she has been since freshman year. And then both of these girls have something in common. They both were accepted this fall to be members of the Illinois Music Educators District 7 Senior Chorus. They went. We had 25 kids go from LHS. There were 8 selected. Both of these girls were picked as to be involved with that. I think that's great. It means they know something about music, and they went and proved it. And I really felt strongly that if I only got to do this one time this year, that I wanted to nominate both of them. So thank you, girls, for what you bring to our programs. Thank you for being nice, and thank you for being awesome. Thank you.
One big picture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think you see, after being here for this ceremony, why I win every argument when people start telling me that their job is better than mine. I always win when I start talking about the true Wildcats that I get to work with. And the thing that I want you as students to know is we think a lot about a statement from Maya Angelou, who said, you know, years from now, people will seldom remember what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And that's ultimately what it means to be a true Wildcat, is you've made such a positive impression on this place. So thank you very much. And there is going to be one more moment of awkwardness, which is that we're going to ask all of our students who won their awards to go over here so we can do one big group photo. Parents, paparazzi, this will be a good opportunity for you to get the whole group. And then before you go, make sure we have this fantastic buffet over here, some chicken wings, some, I don't know, spicy meatballs. We've got punch, cookies. Make sure you get it because there's all kinds of vultures out here just waiting to get in here for the leftovers, okay? All right, so students, come on over, and thank you everybody for coming today.